Hello guys, thank you for joining us today. My name is Billy Connor and this is Late Model Automotive. We are testing a 2019 Chevy Silverado today. Customer had some AC complaints and we just got back from test driving it and verifying the customer's complaint. And in fact, we found that while driving, the truck AC does blow cold, but when you come to a stop, the pressures drop and the cooling effect goes away quickly. So we've already checked the cooling fans. Cooling fans are working correctly. We've checked the freon level. The freon level is at specification. So the next thing was to do to drive it with the scan tool, watch the pressures, see what they do. And so next we'll go into the next camera angle. Okay guys, you're gonna have to bear with me on this one. It's pretty tough, so need to get the transmission cooler lines broke loose so we can get the compressor loose. So next step, we're gonna have to remove these transmission line cooler brackets, get them out of the way. We're gonna start back here, get them back there. There's a bolt right here, and there's a bracket with a 10mm right in there. We're gonna have to get that out. Drop the transmission cooler lines down out of the way. And you can see in here a little bit, man, it's really tight. This is not the easiest AC compressor to replace. So I've got it loose and I'll go over that with you guys here in a little bit. But for now, I'm gonna have to dig in there and one on the side of the engine and one on the front of the engine. This thing having a lift kit on it, not doing us any favors. That thing is down in there pretty good. Let's see if we can get a good view of me trying to sneak this thing out. Not sure if that's a good view or not. About the best I'm gonna get right there. Maybe. This thing's got all kinds of hoses around this thing. It was a pain just to get to this point. Let me move that hose out of the way. By the way, guys, make sure you got the battery cable, the negative, taken off. I did that earlier. I didn't. It's just something we got to do on stuff like this. It's too dangerous. Had to remove the alternator cable. Not a big deal, but definitely don't want to do that without the negative cable being undone. Okay, this hose, we'll have to wrap it out of the way. Here we go. And bam, just like that. 1 week AC compressor. Guys, it's all in there. That is a tough one to get out. It's gonna be fun to get it back in there, but we got it out. That's kind of the easy part on this. Okay guys, I got the new AC compressor, and we're gonna gently let her in there. We've got a connector on the back that we got to get. Very important. The tab is still there too. That's good. And so what we have to do before we can just go ahead and bolt this thing right up, we got to get the AC lines on here. First, because otherwise it's a booger to get them lined up on there. So make sure they're clean. It's got new seals on it. And go ahead and plug that connector in too. Try to remove. Okay, that made a good connection. Okay guys, I got the torque specs, 16 foot-pounds for the bolt, for the stud nut, and the AC lines themselves at the compressor. Okay, so we got both belts on. AC belt. There's no tensioner on these, if you guys didn't already know that. Same thing with the drive belt. It was actually more tricky than the AC belt. I've done a lot of the AC belts. I haven't done a lot of the stretchy belts on just the drive. This belt drive is different than the 19 and under. That, and then we're gonna do these oil cooler lines after we get done with the AC. We've got to do this expansion valve next. It's going to be a little bit easier to get to than the AC compressor. You really can't even hardly see the AC compressor with all the hoses in the way. So I didn't even try to get anything more than that, but you can see the stud and the bolt. They're actually easy to get to. That's not the issue. It's getting the hoses and everything out of there so you can actually remove it. So I'm going to get on this expansion valve, and then we're going to get on these oil cooler lines. Like I need to remove this bracket. All right. And looks like we got some torque spits here. See if it says T20. Yep. Okay, so the new one comes with new seals, new bolts. Go ahead and get a pick, pop those loose. Clean that real quick.
Your handy dandy quarter inch, or yeah. Well, that's no fun. There it goes. Go ahead and get seals off the hose. All right, we're ready to go back together. So, this hose over here has a little bracket, 10mm stud on the bracket. On the battery, box, and it goes underneath it. And I lost the 10mm nut that goes there. Let me go get one. Okay, I found one. See if it'll work. The 13mm. Go ahead and torque that down to 16 foot-pounds. All right, well that wraps that up. So let me get to this other stuff and I will be right back. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and loosen up these oil cooler lines. Let them start dripping, draining. Go ahead and get this bracket, 10mm up here. Got a stud on the side of the block with a 10mm. Got it. Hopefully none of that gets on my new iPhone 16. Go ahead. Already had the connector on here loosened up. So it looks like with this truck being lifted, it's actually going to help me out a little bit on the oil cooler lines, at least back here anyways. So let's go ahead and take a look at the oil cooler lines real quick. Alright, so here is the new lines. These are GM lines. Come with new seal, new bolts. Leave those on there. Nothing gets in there. But like I said, this truck being lifted, it's going to make this job a little bit easier. So let's go ahead and get back to it. But they have the pressure sensor built in on this. Guys, if you have any questions on this, this is from GM. These crimps right up here, that's where they leak. Really common. I believe this is an updated design for that, so hopefully they don't have to worry about that in the future. This is the AC compressor. Seen that earlier. It's got a stud right here. So once you get the nut off of there, pull the stud, and this has got a really long bolt. And so what happens is this is like a little clamp type deal here. Once you torque this down, it actually pulls this in and keeps that tight. So even though you get the bolt out, this thing's just tight right there. I'll get a hammer and show you. So the new one, this little piece was all the way on the new one, this piece was all the way flush. So it slid right in, no issue. So if that was tightened at any time, it could fight you. So remember to check that before you go ahead and install it in there, because it is a tight fit. So, but the new one should be slid all the way back. Shouldn't have to worry about it. Okay, we're at the radiator. I already have the clips out. Just use a little pick to get those out with. Got a drain bucket in there. Underneath, it's gonna leak out some oil. Almost.
Oh man, my light went dead. Let's come over here. Not saying it was the easiest feat, but we got them out without cutting them, so there you go. It is definitely possible, but you can tell that I'm breathing hard. It's zero cuss words. Hey. All right, let me get back to, I gotta clean everything up and then start to get to the, install the new oil lines. All right, we've got our new lines ready to start fishing these boys in there. Oh yeah, there it goes. Almost. Let me see if I can get that. All right. Now we got to twist them all in the transmission cooler lines now. Get them in there without breaking anything. Get the step stool lifts up high enough for, I need that. All right. Okay. Let's go ahead and switch up. Get this top one in here. Not struggling too much. All right, went in. Start. See where we're at here. That one went right in. I did have to move it past this other pipe. If you get them crossed, it's not going to want to fit in there. So don't go clipping it in with it being super tight. Cause an issue later on down the road. But more than likely, it's not even going to get in there correctly. It'll be fighting you. I like this clip. Well,
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Go ahead and spray that off. Some brake clean. Brake cleaner's your friend. All you lube techs out there, clean it. Okay. See that? This little plastic retainer goes on there. If it doesn't fit on there correctly, it means your little clip's not fitting correctly. But that actually is correct. But, oh. Let me double check that. Yeah, I see it. It's around it. There it goes. If you're not using brake clean, you're not making any money. It's a fact. All right, let me lift it up. There. Our line's on the stud up front. I'm gonna go ahead and clean some of this dirt. Remove your plastic cover. Go ahead and get those in there finger tight. Or started, at least. Go ahead and clip your oil pressure or oil sensor on there. That might be an oil temperature, because I know they, well, I know the older models had an oil pressure sensor up top. This one is a little bit different. It's an L87. Haven't worked on a lot of L87s. A lot of people in the dealership have, though. Okay. Go ahead and verify these lines up front are going to work. They look pretty happy. That plastic retainer in there. Clippity clip. Let me go ahead and get this bracket started. And these are just 10 millimeters back here, 2 bolts. They're not going to be super tight. Need to go get the torque specs for those here in a second. Go ahead and brake clean all this off. That always made my boss happy at the dealership, but you know, didn't get a lot of comebacks because shit was, oh darn it, I said the cuss word. Okay, well, just start over. Anyways, like I was saying, as long as it's clean, I'm willing to pay for a couple extra cans of brake clean. Not a big deal. It's a lot cheaper than upsetting customers. Okay, I'm gonna clean up everything and we'll do an overview after this. Okay, that wraps up everything on the 2019 Chevy Silverado 1500. This is a Black Widow edition. It's lifted. That didn't really help us on the AC. Made it probably a little bit more difficult than need be. Everything went pretty good, I believe, on video. So a lot of the things on the AC I wasn't able to get in there when I was actually trying to remove it. It was just so tight of a fit. So unfortunately there's not a lot there that you can see, but I was able to get it out from the top without removing the fans. Once you just get in there and take the inner fender well out, you have to remove the coolant hose, the thermostat housing, and the heater hoses. And once you do that, you can get access to it. You'll have to remove the stud and the bolt and then take off the AC line, and you can get easy access after that. So after, I would say that's the most difficult part of it. It went pretty smooth after we figured that out. So the oil cooler lines, they went pretty smooth. I feel like that we had pretty good content on that. You know, sometimes they're pretty difficult, and like I said, if you wanted to, you could cut the hoses, make it a lot easier to get out. I wanted to show you guys that you could get them out without doing that, and typically you'll make a bigger mess. And I feel like I didn't make a very big mess today, and so I'm pretty proud of myself on that. So but as far as tools goes, I do recommend having a scan tool that you can read your AC pressures. Obviously you're going to need gauges or an AC machine. Trying to just fill it up, you know, with a can or whatever, you can get by with that, but a lot of people have issues with that. It's really hard to get the right amount in there, especially not having any experience. So definitely recommend the AC machine, or take it in and have somebody else fill it up for you. Not a bad option. But other than that,
The only issue I found is we weren't able to get the data for you on the AC pressures. We diagnosed this last week, and when we brought it in, the AC pressures wouldn't come off, the high side wouldn't come off of 105 psi at idle. You go drive it, it would come up, AC's pressures would come up, and it would cool just fine. Come to a stop, and it would get, the pressures would drop, wouldn't come back up. So this morning I tried it. I wasn't able to drive it very far. The pressures worked just fine. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to get that. But I do have a screenshot of the pressures from last week, so I'll go ahead and put that in there so you guys can see that. Other than that, guys, if you guys like this, please like and subscribe. And we're gonna have plenty of more content like this, and whatever you guys want to see, I'm gonna try to do my best. You guys let me know what you want to see, and I'll see what I can do for the next video. Thank you guys for joining us. It's pretty late. It's already midnight, so it's been a long day. All right, guys. Thank you.